First of all, let me say thank you to all the activists, the Friends of Liberty State Park that are here today, and the unanimous support from the council members, both outgoing and the new ones that were sworn in as of yesterday. And you know, the press conference today is to announce that we formally filed a lawsuit this morning to stop Governor Christie's plans to develop the South Side. We feel that this would do irreparable damage to Jersey City and Liberty State Park, which is one of the crowning jewels of New Jersey and one of the best parks in the entire country. And so we are committed to fighting tooth and nail to stop this horrible plan that would develop a millionaire's marina on the south side of the park, impacting visitors that use that part of the park for barbecues, for family visits, for walking, and certainly impact all the sight views for the Statue of Liberty and the Manhattan skyline. You're going to hear shortly from some of the leaders from around New Jersey who lead the environmental movement in the state and here in Jersey City. And then we'll have our legal counsel here answer questions regarding the specifics of what was filed today and what the next steps are. You know, I think that anybody could acknowledge that if this was a plan that everybody was proud of down in Trenton, it wouldn't have been rammed through in a lame duck session in the dark of night. And I think that speaks in of itself how Trenton feels about it and how we feel about it. And we're going to fight at all costs in order to stop it. So without further ado, I'm going to turn the program over to the one and only Sam Pessin, and the president of Friends of Liberty State Park.
I first want to express gratitude to Mayor Fulop for his decisive leadership by initiating this crucial lawsuit, because he knew the public's access to, use, and enjoyment of Liberty Park are very much at stake. We are here to fight for social justice and against arrogant greed. We're fighting for families and for true American values. We're fighting against this governor's destructive giveaway of the park's non-commercial, urban, family, peaceful South Side. Mayor Fulop fought fiercely with us on the front lines a couple of years ago with the Friends, our great ally, the New York, New Jersey Baykeeper, other environmental groups, 40 organizations, 10,000 people signed a petition, and we prevailed a couple of years ago. And also with other elected officials in our united front, including City Council President Rolando Olivaro, the whole City Council, Assemblywoman Angela McKnight, Assemblyman Raj Mukherjee, and Senator Sandra Cunningham. We have a determined solidarity to represent the 41-year broad public consensus against exclusionary uses and in support of an inclusive park for people of all colors, religions, and cultures to enjoy together. Mayor Fulop sees this plan for what it is, an attack on the urban people. And as a progressive leader, he cares about the quality of life of the majority and not the quality of life of millionaires. The Suntex plan would obliterate the South Side as a sanctuary in this crowded and concrete region, and would ruin the park as a recreational, mental health, and spiritual public resource where people, as the mayor stated, picnic, barbecue, relax, play, exercise, fish, and explore nature. This plan would destroy the park's true purpose and spirit as a free park for a free people behind the world's greatest symbol of freedom. The South Side is our nation's most sacred public space. Liberty Park was once a desolate waterfront wasteland and was transformed with taxpayers' money into a beautiful park that honors Lady Liberty and is a local, state, and national treasure. Lady Liberty's torch must continue to be an inspiring beacon for human rights and not a beacon to help mega yacht owners find their way back to their docks. This shameless backroom assault to sign a lease before any public hearings desecrates democracy, dishonors Lady Liberty, and casts aside the vision of a waterfront family park. I want to thank the Riker and Danzig attorneys, John Voto and Josh Jacobs, for preparing this case with their dedication and expertise. I also want to thank the Jersey City Corporation Counsel, Jeremy Farrell, for his active involvement and guidance. In my lawsuit certification statement, I emphasize that the plan confiscates precious open space, including 3 historic jetties and a 4-acre lawn. It obstructs tranquil open harbor vistas, and it takes away 228 essential parking spaces, one of the 2 free parking lots, which are jam-packed on summer Sundays, and the plan would also damage the area's wildlife habitat. So again, I thank Mayor Fulop for setting a strong example for our nation of elected officials being on the front lines of grassroots battles for the public good and working with all of us to save this park for, of, and by the people. Thank you. I have the honor of introducing the Friends of Liberty State Park's greatest ally for 25 years, Greg Rameau, Deputy Director of the New York, New Jersey Baykeeper.
There's only one way to start comments today properly, and that's by thanking Mayor Fulop and his team. The mayor has long talked about preserving parks and open space in urban areas, and as Jersey City prospers and grows, knowing that the public lands and parks are only going to be used by more and more people and become more and more precious. A lot of folks talk about things. The mayor has been a leader of action. He's always asking great questions about the park, always in contact, always responding, always bringing information about what's going on at the park. And then today recently taking the extraordinary step of bringing in the legal resources needed to fight this battle, and a great team from Riker Danzig, and we're very excited that they're here helping to fight this battle, and they're very much needed. So thank you, Mayor. Most of you here today know it, but what we always have to remember is that Liberty State Park was conceived by incredibly honorable, high-minded individuals. Sam's father, Morris, and Audrey Zapp, and Ted Conrad, and many people who came from what's often called the greatest generation, who worked hard every day for their families, but also sacrificed for their neighbors and for other people. And Liberty State Park is probably is among the greatest embodiments, physical embodiments, of those great American values. And it's a green oasis for everyone to come to freely and to recreate with their family, their friends, by themselves. And we can no longer take that for granted. We're going to have to fight and fight again. Unfortunately, what's also a part or a segment of the American values is represented by Suntex Marina. It's unadulterated selfishness and greed. Why do I say that? They have a lease, a very lucrative lease, on public lands on the north side of this park. Instead of being thankful and a good neighbor, what they've done is try again and again to get more land to the north, now to get the whole south side of Liberty State Park Marina. It's like they're auditioning for American Greed or something. You can't get any worse than what Suntex is trying to do. But as always, Sam and the friends and all the great folks from Jersey City and around the state rise and rise again to fight off these sweetheart deals. Each one's a little different, and in this case, it's an inside job. The Christie administration, which is sworn to uphold through their DEP and protect the parks, is the one giving it away. And that's why these extraordinary resources are needed. We've been able to fight off other battles in different ways, but because it's coming from the DEP, it makes it that much tougher, and that's much more important to get this injunction. So I thank my colleagues. Unfortunately, Eric Stiles from New Jersey Audubon came down with the flu. He can't be here. But Jeff Tittle and Bill Sheehan, and obviously everybody who's stood by the park. And with that, I'll announce the president or executive director,
Just
Jeff?
director.
Director of the New Jersey chapter of the Sierra Club and longtime friend of Liberty State Park, Jeff Tittle.
Thank you. I want to thank Greg and Sam and, my family, and always had a very close friend with Sam's family, Harry Rabinowitz, for, 70 years or more. And I wanted to mention that because I think that's part of why we're here. Lands were fought to be set aside for future generations. And those lands are held in a sacred trust for the people. When we save open space, we're saying to future generations, it will be here for you. Not for supersized yachts that look like they're like a boat on steroids, blocking the view of the Statue of Liberty and New York skyline. We're here because these parks were set aside for future generations in that public trust. And we're very proud to be standing here with Mayor Fulop, who gets it, that these parks belong to all of us. They don't belong to the politicians in Trenton or Washington or anywhere else. John Muir, who founded the Sierra Club 125 years ago, said that parks were the cathedral of nature, where people can commune with their families, with nature, with everything, but they're there for all of us. And when you privatize and build marinas, you're desecrating that cathedral that belongs to all of us. And that's why we're here today, because we want to say to Governor Christie, this may be your last act before you get out as being governor, but we're going to say you're not going to get away with it. You have that photo that's worth, 1,000 words of him sitting on that beach in defiance of the fact that no one else could go swimming or could go to any state park during the government shutdown. That photo crystallized his arrogance, but this act is much worse, because that's just a photo of a politician sitting on the beach. This is an act of desecrating and destroying public open space that belongs to all of us. And we're here, and part of what I wanted to talk about, and we're here because of the excuses that this governor has used in this DEP, which I call the Department of Excessive Pollution. It doesn't belong, the environment's no longer there anymore. That they use the excuse that they have to fix the bulkhead around the waterfront. In order to pay for it, they have to then sell out Liberty State Park for future generations. That is not only fake news, it's a damnable lie. And the reason is that there are so many other things that can be done with that money, fixing up the center of the park, creating more recreational opportunities. That bulkhead doesn't have to be replaced now, but it's also a self-inflicted wound by this administration. Governor Christie and others in the legislature took the money that was supposed to go to capital repairs and fixing our state parks, and then took it for other purposes, open space and other things, and took that money away from parks. In this year's budget, there should have been $30 million for capital repairs at our parks. Instead, there was about $8 million. And so he uses the excuse that they've taken the money that he was colluding about as the excuse to privatize and sell out Liberty State Park. And that's the critical thing. We have a $400 million backlog in New Jersey for critical repairs and improvements in our state parks. And this is a governor who doesn't care about our parks. His sitting on the beach showed it, but his policies to the parks showed it as well. And so what he was saying, what he and his administration were saying about the need to do it He's just made it up. It's an excuse to give away one of the most valued assets of the people of New Jersey to a marina company and to mega millionaire yachts. That's what this is all about. And I just want to say that, not only are these parks for people, but Liberty State Park, it's like going to the UN. You see people from every walk of life, every country, every religion, every economic class, because it is our park. It is one of the most visited state parks in the entire country. It is our Yellowstone and our Yosemite. And by the way, more people go to Liberty State Park than Yellowstone and Yosemite combined on a yearly basis. Just to understand how important it is and how important that view is. It is the symbol of this country. It is the symbol of the gateway to the United States for millions and millions of people, for immigrants, and for every family that's here today and future generations. And to take that symbol and give it away to millionaire yachts is the opposite of what this country believes in, and is the opposite of what this country is about. And that's why we're here to fight it. And I'm so glad we've gone to court, because we have to stop this now. And if we can hold off, we'll get a new governor and a new administration, one that may actually believe in the environment and that believe that parks are for people and parks are for all of us. So I just want to say to Mayor Fulop, you're doing the job our governor should be doing, protecting our parks for people and for future generations. Thank you very much. And I want to turn it over to someone who started out as a Sierra Club volunteer and is now a major environmental group in his own right, Captain Bill Sheehan.
Good afternoon. Happy New Year. Once again, I'm going to echo all of my colleagues and thank both Mayor Fulop and the administration of Jersey City for stepping up and really stepping up to take this administration into court once again to prove to them that they do not own the environment, that the people of New Jersey own the environment. The area that they intend to lease to Centex is an open space area. It's also submerged land. Submerged land is covered under the public trust. Who made that up? Emperor Justinian, a Roman emperor who first wrote the code that said that land that is washed by water belongs to the common folk, and that the government can only fulfill the role of being a trustee for those submerged lands. This is not good trusteeship. As a matter of fact, this is the type of trusteeship that should put people in jail. Because when you accept the fact that you're a trustee, that's a very important thing. I'm a trustee on the Meadowlands Conservation Trust, along with Greg, and we take our responsibilities very, very seriously as a trustee. We would never think to try and figure out some way to shoehorn development into the Meadowlands because it might be economically something that we might think we would benefit from. No, this is not that. And besides that, I'm a boater. Like of everybody up here on this, I am a boater. I spend probably about 6-7 months of my life every year out on the water, aboard my pontoon boats. And I can tell you that the boating industry has been suffering. And the idea that they need to build all these slips here is ridiculous, because you go to the New York Boat Show, it's about 1/4 of the size that it was back in the 1970s and 80s. You go to any other boat show, and very seldom do you hear the bells ringing when people buy boats, because they price themselves out of the market. When I grew up, boating was a blue-collar activity. Anybody that could put a few dollars together could get some kind of a boat and get out there and go fishing, hang out with the family, enjoy themselves. Not anymore. The boating industry is now, just like everybody said it before me, it's a passion for millionaires. And even the smallest boats, even the boats that used to be considered starter boats, are more than most people in this room probably pay for rent every year. They're more than everybody in this room probably pays for their health care. It's incredible, the cost, how it's gone up, 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 and up. And yet they're still trying to make more slips for people that don't have boats. And besides, that end of the park is where the people that have been able to hang on to their boats but don't have the resources to keep them in a marina, that's where they go. That's where they go when they want to splash their boat in the water, go out fishing for the day, and then pull it out at the end of the day, take it home or wherever they keep it. So, this is about the boating industry, this is about Centex, but most importantly, it's about Governor Christie. As a riverkeeper, as Hackensack riverkeeper, I spent the first probably, 13, 14 years of my career suing polluters, suing corporations that had polluted the Meadowlands, that had polluted the Hackensack River, and that had polluted other areas of interest. Well, in the past 8 years, almost my entire legal bandwidth has been dedicated to one defendant, and that's the state of New Jersey. I'll be happy to see a new administration because maybe we can get back to doing our job of suing polluters. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to invite up our corporate counsel, Jeremy Farrell, and Riker Danzig, who can explain the details of what was filed today in Hudson County, and then we'll open it up to any questions. So, Jeremy Farrell.
I am joined today by John Voto, a partner at the law firm of Riker Danzig, who actually is filing the papers on our behalf. Today we filed papers to pursue a preliminary injunction to stop the governor and his team at DEP from being able to pursue their goals of building an additional marina on the south side of the park. Today we'll be arguing for a temporary restraining order to immediately stop any further action, and we hope to have a favorable outcome of that filing so we can pursue the preliminary injunction at a future date. With that being said, I invite John up and we'll answer any questions you have.
We filed a complaint this morning. It's seeking both a preliminary injunction to stop the DEP and Suntex from entering into the proposed new lease. We also are seeking a declaratory judgment to void the proposed new lease. So our legal strategy is actually twofold. Immediately to get a restraint on the DEP and Suntex from proceeding with the proposed new lease, and second, to void the proposed new lease in its entirety.